is up, YouTube? It's Kato, and today we're playing cards. This is episode 4. I'm in my socially distanced corner to take my mask off real quick to explain what's going on. I'm doing a $150 buy-in yesterday. I was up and then I lost. Today I'm going to try to play very conservative, very smart. I'm going to try to just maybe double up my money and get out of here. I need to book a win. My bankroll is limited, and I can't be going for glory. I got to play smart and get up when I'm up. So let's see how it goes. We are sitting at the table for $150 today, which is our standard buy-in until we build our bankroll. We get 30 whites and 120 in reds, and very early we look down at ace-queen, pick up a small pot, and then we fold around some garbage hands out of position. We fold away our small blind, fold away our dealer button, and then we look down at king of hearts, queen of clubs in the cutoff. With two limpers ahead of us, we decide to raise to $10. The hand is good, but not great. It would be a lot better if it was suited, giving us the flush draw possibilities. But we get a caller in the big blind, we get a caller under the gun, and finally middle position completes the action, sending us to the flop with $53 in the pot. We're hoping for a king, we're hoping for a queen, maybe some hearts or clubs. No, we get the 4 of hearts, 5 of spades, 6 of spades on the flop. This flop nails the limp callers and the big blind's range. It does not nail ours. We're hoping to improve on the turn, and when the 4 of spades comes, we definitely don't. But it checks around again, and with $53 in the pot, position, the original aggressor, I'm going to go ahead and bet 20 to try to clear the field, hopefully steal the pot right now. People don't look too excited about their hands. The big blind gives it away. Under the gun thinks about it for a little while, ends up deciding to muck. And then the middle position decides to follow us to the river, calling the $20, bringing the pot to $93. We're hoping to see a card on the river that actually helps us so we can win this pot with ease. But it's the ace of diamonds, which is not the card we were looking to see. It is a card that can be bluffed on, though. As the original raiser, the ace hits my range a lot more than it hits middle position's limping range. And so I'm going to size up to $50 and raise this $93 pot, hoping to take it down with a fold. Hoping to take it down with a bluff. I have king high. There's $138 in the pot. The middle position player has shown no aggression all hand. He could easily have a 7, a 3. He could have a large spade, maybe like the king of spades. And we scoop the $138 pot with a bluff. The next hand that we're dealt of note is ace of hearts, queen of diamonds in the low jack. The under the gun player raises to $10, and I'm the first to call. The button calls, the small blind calls, and the big blind calls. We're going to the flop 5 ways with $50 in the pot. I'm hoping for an ace or a queen on this board. A lot of small cards are going to hit my opponent's range much better than it's going to hit mine. And with so many players in the pot, I'm looking to just make my hand or kind of get out of this one. The flop comes 2 of spades, ace of clubs, king of clubs, giving us top pair. With top kicker, that wouldn't be a second pair. The original raiser decides to lead out for $15, and I just make the call. I don't quite want to reveal the strength of my hand just yet. The other 3 players fold out of the way, and it goes heads up to the turn. The turn is a king of diamonds, which is not a good card for me, seeing as it pairs the board with a king. Any king could be an easy continuation bet for the original raiser on the flop, and sure enough, he bets out $30 on the turn. I'm totally fine calling this. I'm definitely not folding this, and I'm trying to pot control at this point. I don't want to inflate the pot any more than I have to. I have position. I have a good hand. Let's just get to the showdown. The river is an 8 of spades, and my opponent decides to immediately check. This is a big sign of weakness for me, and so now I'm trying to get a very thin value bet out of here, and I can fold away if he re-raises. I'm trying to keep in any ace, any 2, even an 8, any middle pair. He folds right away, though, and so we scoop the $170 pot.
I don't care, as long as he's gone, you got back and...
The next hand of note is ace of diamonds, jack of spades. The button open raises to $15, and I just elect to make the call. I could 3-bet here occasionally, but my stack's not too deep. It's an unsuited hand. The big blind also makes the call, and we're going to the flop for $45. This is not a great hand of note for any particular reason other than a lesson to be learned, and that's when I flop king of diamonds, 2 of diamonds, 9 of diamonds. I look back at my hand to see if I have the ace of diamonds. I really should be finding ways to avoid this. I want to look at my hand once pre-flop and remember it, and if nothing else, just don't look back at my hand post-flop at all. I feel like it gives too much information, and I do lead out for $25 here. The big blind thinks about it for a long time and ends up making the fold, and the dealer also makes the fold. I scoop this pot, but still possibly because of me looking back down at my cards and then making a bet. That could entail some sort of read. I'm happy to scoop this pot because I didn't have a made hand at that point, but as a PokerBeast community, let's think about that. Let's try to have our cards memorized so we don't have to keep looking back at them in the middle of play. This next hand is actually pretty interesting, and I really want you to leave a comment below on what you think about this hand and what you think I should have done with it. I get dealt in the small blind, 8 of hearts, 7 of hearts. It's a straddled pot. We're going 5 ways to the flop. No raises pre-flop besides the straddle. $30 in the pot. The flop comes out, a big-time flop for me. 10 of hearts, jack of hearts, 7 of diamonds. I have a pair, a flush draw, a straight flush gutter, and I decided to check because I'm looking to raise this. But when the big blind bets 20 and the under the gun makes the call, and then the cutoff, who is a very tight player, 3 bets. I'm probably going to get reamed in the chat for this, and I probably deserve it, but I make it the ultimate nip fold here, which I think it still was a good fold because I don't want to commit all my chips to the pot when I could have a dream of hitting the 9 of hearts. Sure, I could hit a heart, but there may be a bigger heart out there. There may be a set. There may be a flop straight. I'm guessing that's what the nit had, and luckily for me, I didn't feel like I wasted any money because the board runs out and I would have lost anyway, and I live to fight another day. I'm glad I made the fold for that particular moment in time, but I'm not sure whether or not that was the correct fold. So leave a comment below what you think. Am I just a total nit, or was that alright to fold and just live to fight another battle? Okay, PokerBeast, this is almost unbelievable, and I don't know why I'm playing this hand since I folded when I had basically the best flop that you could ask for with 8 of hearts, 7 of hearts last time. But under the gun, I get 8 of hearts, 7 of hearts again. I decided to go for it one more time. Maybe the poker gods are sending me a sign. Maybe they're teaching me a lesson. I'm not going to know until the flop comes, and it better be a good one because I folded a nit hand the other pot with this same hand, and wow. Jack of hearts, 2 of hearts, 10 of diamonds. Could you ask for a butter flop? Yeah, you could, because I just had one of my last hand that I played. But alas, I have the gut shot to the 9 straight draw, and I have the flush draw. The early position raises to $10, and I make the call, and then immediately a young lady across the table who plays very tight, very face up in a lot of situations, makes a big over bet. She just throws out like $80 worth of chips in there, and I decide to make the same fold. She tells me that I've made a good fold, and she has a set of 10s. Do we believe her? We're sitting at a poker table, so I don't believe anyone, and neither should you. I go through a long drought of cards, and I come to realize this is because the poker gods are testing me, seeing if I'm worthy to fill my luck box up, and sitting with about $200 or $50 more than my starting stack, the poker gods decide to bless me. I look down the very next hand at pocket jacks. I'm in middle position and there is a straddle, so I decided to open it up a little larger. I size up to $20, putting $36 in the pot. The player 2 to my left makes the call, making the pot $56. Now it's $76 when the small blind makes the call. The button thinks about it for a while and decides to call, and then the under the gun, who limped in originally, also makes the call. We're going 5 ways to the flop, $90 in the pot. I have one of the worst hands in poker. I have the hand that is going to bust me 99% of the time. We all know it. Let's pray for a jack because I'm basically set mining 5 ways to the flop, and there it is. 10 of hearts, 8 of clubs, jack of diamonds. I have a fantastic hand, top set. It's still not the nuts on this board. I decided to bet $75. I'm definitely charging the other players to chase their draws, and I have a very strong hand at this moment. When the button goes all in for $73, it's an easy call. I put out a few more chips to represent that I'm calling, and we're going to go heads up, last 2 cards to the river, and I show my set of jacks. He has queen 8 of spades. He needs a 9, and he gets it on the turn, the 9 of spades. But what's that? The final jack in the deck, the jack of spades. I quad up. This is my best hand of the vlog, and I'm scooping a $249 pot. A player points out that if that 10 of hearts was a 10 of spades, we would have hit the bad beat jackpot. Maybe next time. I'm informed that my quad jacks has put me in the lead for the high hand promotion. Every hour, $100 is given away to the highest hand in the room, and I only have to sweat 30 more minutes before I cash in. I get dealt king of spades, jack of hearts on the button, and running off a high from the previous hand, I decided to raise up to $20, hoping to get heads up with position. I end up getting called by 2 players, the big blind and the cutoff, and we're going to the flop, $64 in the pot, and we're hoping to hit, but we're betting no matter what with the standard continuation bet. Sure enough, king of hearts, 4 of hearts, 5 of clubs come on the flop, giving us top pair with third best kicker, and we're charging. Once it checks through to us, we're going to bet about half pot, or $30. The first player folds immediately, and so it's up to the cutoff if he wants to play. He tanks and thinks about it for a long time, and there's a lot of hands that he could have called $20 with. Another king like king 10, king queen, he could possibly have called with 4s or 5s. He could have something like 6, 7, ace deuce suited, ace 3 suited, ace 5 suited. There are a lot of hands in his range that he'll probably want to continue with. There's only $30 into a $124 pot, and he does make the call. We're going to the turn, which peels off the 6 of diamonds. This is not too much of a scare card for us because the odds of someone having 2-3 calling pre-flop, it would likely need to be suited. Even then, I'm sure that this is not in the range, but he does decide to donk bet out, and it's a pretty sizable bet of $65 straight into me. And he could have a set of 6s, he could have a set of 5s or 4s, maybe he has the 7-8, but I doubt it. Maybe he's paired a draw like maybe 6-7, 6-8. He could be betting because he's nervous that I'm going to bet again, and so he could be blocking my bet. He could think that I was continuation betting on the flop, or he could have a good hand and might be nervous I'm going to check behind him. I could raise here, but I don't want to be shoved in over the top. I have position, and I can totally pot control this and just call down on the river. And the river is an ace of spades. That's not the card I want to see. He could get there with ace 5, ace 4, ace deuce, ace 3. With $254 in the pot, he decides that he's going to bet out and continue to control this pot. He thinks about it for a moment and then slides $80 worth of red chips in the center of the pot. This is a very small bet, a bet that I'm relieved to see because I can definitely call this with fantastic odds. There's going to be an $80 call to win over $400. I'm just deciding and thinking through the hand, what do I want to do? Do I want to re-raise thin for value? Do I think that he has a better hand and I could possibly get him to fold away with a bluff by turning my king jack into a bluff? I decide, based off the betting, that he likely has a misdraw, and so I just decide to make the call, which turns out to be a good call because he flips up. And he was betting into me with the 7-6 of clubs. He flopped a straight draw on the backdoor flush draw, turned a pair, and decided to take over the pot. It makes sense now, although I think he should have bet a lot larger on the river, polarized his hand, and really put me to the test. Alright, I'm back in my socially distanced corner, and in 8 minutes, my quad jacks is going to win me the high hand promotion. $100 bills coming my way if it holds. Other than that, I've got about $570 worth of chips now, and if I hit that promotion, it's time for me to go home. My mission's been accomplished. I think I played decent poker so far, and so we're just going to hope that holds for 8 more minutes, and we're going to lock in the victory. Whenever you say you're going to go home, whenever you rack your chips up, things start to get a little dicey, and I'm dealt an ace of spades, jack of diamonds in the small blind. There's one limper, and I decided to bet $16. The big blind calls me very quickly, which is interesting, and then everyone else folds out. The flop comes 2 of clubs, 6 of hearts, 10 of hearts. I like to check. I could be continuation betting, but this does not hit my range. It hits my opponent's calling range in the big blind very well. When the turn is a 6 of clubs, I decide to check, and the big blind, the villain, decides to bet out $30, making the pot $68. I waste no time calling, seeing as my ace high could easily be good. When the turn comes a 5 of clubs, backdoor flush gets there, but I like to just check, thinking that I could probably call down a bet. He checks 2. I flip over my ace jack very quickly, thinking it's good, thinking I'm about to scoop a $98 pot, but no, he flips over the ace queen offsuit. Makes a lot of sense. He thought he was also good with ace high, and we're just patiently waiting for our high hand promotion to hit, and we get a lot of ace rags, which we fold away. Ace deuce offsuit, fold. Ace 4 offsuit, fold. But for some reason, we get dealt ace 9 offsuit. It's a straddle. We're in the big blind, and we decide to raise it up. $30 bet. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me sitting here in front of my computer analyzing the hand, but we get excited sometimes, and sure enough, we get a call on the button, and the pot is already inflated to $79. As the dealer puts out the flop, all we can ask for is an ace, and sure enough, the board comes 5 of clubs, king of hearts, ace of clubs. We saw the ace in the window. This is going to be our last hand of the night, And we decided to check for some pot control, which turns out to be a mistake because the turn is a queen of diamonds. We are out of position in this hand, and so we need to protect the pot. We bet $40, bringing the pot to 119. The queen of diamonds brings in a lot more draw possibilities, and it's a scary card. He makes the call, and the river is the 10 of clubs, one of the worst cards in the deck. The front door flush gets there. This jack makes a straight. Any Broadway card beats us. Ace 10, king 10, queen 10. They all get there, and so I decided to check, and I'm just going to call down a river unless he sizes up too large, which he does size up quite large. He puts in a $100 stack, and now the pot is $259. It's 3-1 for me to call. I call in $100 to win a $359 pot, but I've protected my stack this far. I know this is the last hand of the night. He could easily have me beat. It's a dangerous card, and he could be bluffing, but it would be a ballsy bluff when he could just check back with a lot of his holdings if he has an ace, if he has a king, and possibly win the pot. I have to remember that he called $30 pre-flop, so there are a lot of Broadway cards in his range, suited cards in his range, and I just don't have enough information to make the call here. I have one pair with a terrible kicker, and I try not to invest a lot of money into pots where I only have one pair, and that's what I think about. It's another lesson in playing aggressive. I should have bet on the flop. I should have bet while I was ahead, but alas, it's okay. Cato, you don't need to do the grumpy shuffle chip dance. Stop doing the grumpy shuffle. Put those chips down. It's okay. You still got the high hand. You're still cashing today. You're making some money. And we're going to fold, and we're going to get the heck out of here with our profit. Not a bad day at the table. All right, session's over. We cashed out. We were in for $150. We got $450 cash out, plus the $100 high hand bonus for the quad jacks for a nice little scoop today. The session wasn't too long. I think I played pretty well. I may have played a few hands too passively, which cost me the pot and a decent amount of money. And I also folded some big draws, so I'm gonna have to plug those in and see if those are good folds or not. I still like the folds because there are many times when I've been driving home at the end of my one bullet thinking to myself, did I really have to go all in with the 8 high flush draw? So I ended up laying those down, but all in all, we're gonna take this win and we're gonna go home and get to work editing. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content. Leave a comment below, help support me, live this dream. I guess it's, we've all wanted to be on TV playing poker since we were little, and here I am on YouTube. So thank you very much for tuning in, and Cato is out.